What does this Playbox thing do anyway? Let's find out. All right. Let's move myself out of the way. Move this. Whoa. So the Playbox Synth has three main categories. Down here you have chords, samples, and effects. So these are your three main tabs. This main page is just a visualization. There's 8 chords. If you go into chords here, there's 8 sets of chords. In total, there's 200 chord sets. So here you can see which chords each one of these notes down here are playing. So you got 8 notes. And for instance, note 1 is going to play this chord, note 2, note 3, so on and so forth. Now, you can get into weeds and really go down here and start going into every sample, which I'm going to show you. Start going into every little sample, start going into every little effects, chords, everything. You can do that. You can go into the weeds real deep in this, or you can do what I do. I use this plugin strictly as a motivational plugin. I use this random button here. This dice is a random button. So this is the default view of this plugin. You start off with these sets down here. Again, you can go into chords and change up the chord sets that you want. You can come in here and record your own chord sets just by tapping on this. You can play your own chord sets in. If you go to piano mode here, it'll play a piano sound for you. Then you have your samples. So each one of these different cubes have a certain art style, and each art style visually represents a sample. So here, like all the pink bubbles, they're voices. The green ones here are synths. So these little inflated cushions are like instrument sounds. I believe the purple is bass, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's also like a furry one. Those are just noises. So you can visually tell right away what a sample is just by its art style. You can also add your own samples into this. It's as simple as just like literally clicking and dragging them in. This thing will actually analyze it and also set the key for each one of your samples. So up here you have your main presets. You can click up here, use your global presets. According to this, there's 321. So these are all just a mixture of all the different, samples across and presets that Native Instruments has laid out for us. You can choose random presets here. You can pan through your presets, or you can go into the sample browser, library, etc. So also on this main page, you have your scale here. You can choose your scale. Say you want a C minor. You can also lock this in, and every sound and sample will be locked in to that C minor scale. You can also choose your octaves here. Maybe you want to go higher, lower, whatever. And then down here, you have almost like a simple version of your effects channels here, which you can have filter, delay. You have an XYZ here. So that's about it for the main page here. Now, if we go into chords, again, you can come in here. You can lock every single chord set. Maybe you really like this chord set here on the first note. You can lock that in, and that won't change anytime you hit random or whatever. You can also drag and drop MIDI. Like if you have a MIDI instrument, you can drag this chord set out into a different MIDI track. And as I mentioned before, you can also record in your own chord sets in here by clicking on these buttons down here, playing on your MIDI keyboard. So if we go into the samples tab now, and you can see down here, you can choose presets for each tab also. Complex, extended chord sets, simple chord sets, and then the actual presets here. And then in the samples tab, you can actually randomize vertically every chord set or every sample set. You can randomize vertically by each note, every sample set, or you can actually randomize them horizontally, or you can randomize the whole thing here. You can also choose here, maybe you want, you know, bass up here in this tab. Maybe here you want instruments. You can randomize and they'll be all random instruments. Or maybe you want random voices all here. Randomize all that, you know, based on the actual categories and tabs here on the sides. The other thing you can do in here is, let's say you really like maybe this chord set here. You can spread this chord set. You can spread this chord set across all the other sets by hitting apply. Now, if you really want to get even more in the weeds in here, each one of these samples has their magnifying glass. You can go in here in depth and choose every single sample, whether it be instrument, bass, voice, whatever you want, each one individually from the sample browser. Good luck. Now, the last tab is the effects tab, and this could be a little bit intimidating. Each one of these presets has their own effects chain. As you can see here, as I change the preset, all the effects changes. You start off mainly with a rhythm tab, like an ARP, strum, or grain. And then next you have your lo-fi tab. And then these are all just different effects that you can add on. Let's say I want to change this to a shaper, etc. So each tab will have their own effects and modulations and envelopes. So you can come in here. You can also add a modulation by hitting this plus. So you want to add a, I don't know, LFO. And then the amount of the LFO you want to add here to this crush parameter. So you can do that across the board. And then down here, you'll see all your LFOs and modulations and all that good stuff. So again, you can really get in the weeds with this. Again, I don't really use this plugin like that. I like to just hit random. Until I get a vibe. So usually I'll lock in my scale up here, whatever scale I'm working in, hit random. There has been times where, you know, the chords may not really work with the chords that I'm playing. So I go in here and I'll change the notes. Like maybe this E didn't work. I'll come in here and change it to a D or something, or whatever it is that I need. Or change entire sets out. Sometimes I might only leave 4 sets that maybe I'm only working with 4 sets of chords, and that's all I want. So yeah, hopefully this helps you. It's real simple, honestly, once you kind of know how to navigate. Once you kind of know how to navigate the plugin, you know, your chords are always down here. You can change them up however you want. You can lock each thing you want. Then, you know, your samples are here. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is these art styles. When you drag in your own sounds, they'll actually have their own art style also. So that way you can differentiate between, you know, sounds that are loaded in from the program and sounds that are yours. And there's that furry one I was talking about before. Those are usually noises. Other than that, hope you enjoyed it. Happy beat making. Should I make a quick beat and drop it in just cause that's what I do? I think so. Listen to this.